It's here at Sheridan Lake, South Dakota, home of kind of close where Mount Rushmore is. And we are getting freaking hailed on right now. Pretty decent size. Got the bikes all covered up. We were gonna go out and hang it outside, but now it's hailing everywhere. And got the fam over here, checking out their cars, make sure there's no hail damage. There's our truck, trailer, and yeah, it's getting pretty gnarly out here. But catch you later.
My fellow chiefs and I would like the white man to know the red man has great heroes also. Chief Henry Standing Bear.
He said, my fellow chiefs and I would like the white man to know the red man had great heroes too. What's wrong with that? All my life, to carve a mountain to a race of people that once lived here for maybe 150,000 years. What an honor. What an honor.
The story of the Native American is an epic, which requires an epic scale. By carving Crazy Horse, if I can give back to the Indians some of his pride and create the means to keep alive his culture and heritage, my life will have been worthwhile. Korchak, the sculptor.
Yeah, well, they beat me in these cheats, I'll see you again. Oh, if you guys are betting like that, I must be beat. I'm out. I'm gonna be down at my dragon store washing my fancy new windows.
I catch up with you in a bit. I want to see who wins this.
What's this hand of yours, Johnny?
Full house. Game's over. How about that?
Hold on a minute there. My 4-7 would like to have a word with you. I know you can compete unless you cheat.
4-7, huh?
Yeah, 4-7.
Man, there ain't no way a fella can be that lucky. If you call me the chief, you're the chief.
Johnny, if you got a problem, I know where to solve it.
Yeah? Well, you're calling me out on game. Get ready to meet your maker.
Johnny, this is no summer game. I'm going to get my winners from you and see who pick where we go.
Oh, Charlie, you'll get yours. Don't be in such a hurry to die.
Come on, Johnny, you know what? Listen, Dixie, pull that pistol of yours.
Tell you what, Chuck, you ain't getting my money or my life.
What are you talking about? You promised inside my fancy new store all the way from Cheyenne, and you hit me for blood weight in the leg. Put an end to this fracas right now.
Go ahead, Mr. Redowner. I'm not quitting until I get my money from that bummer.
Bummer, huh?
Yeah.
What do you say we get back to this, you stinking polecat?
Oh, we can hit anything. Wait. I'm out.
Did I get you?
I think so.
How about now?
Nothing.
Oh, dang it! It doesn't look like either one of us in it anyway, Saints.
You hit Ludwig, though.
Yeah, we're out the window.
Yeah, that fancy machine.
Charlie, I don't believe either one of us are fated to die on this day.
Well, I tell you what, let's keep it that way. Let's sit on down another minute and vote to do a supper company.
Alright, as long as you keep that rock good up and done.
After all is said and done, these two agents of chaos walked away unscathed. 10 shots fired and only 2 took effect. One in Wartimer's fancy new window, and the other in poor old Ludwig. Don't worry about him though, the move wasn't made. Now these two toughs weren't loved in the Black Hills. Johnny Barnes heard about the new gold patch down in Colorado, wound up dying in Denver. Charlie Storms wandered down to Tombstone. Old Charlie, never even keeping his guns from flapping, belted off to the infamous Dapper Luke Short and received 3 slugs from Luke's Colt for his trouble. And that's the way things really were here in Deadwood when Barnes and Storms shot it out on Gold Street. Thank you much for coming, folks, and have a great Deadwood day.
July 3rd with the family and the wife, and we are here in Mount Rushmore on the back side of it though, getting firework action at least. We thought we weren't going to be able to see any fireworks. We were down the road, came up the road, and we saw fireworks, and it's fire. Working.
And the heart.
We're so grateful for this day, and grateful to be with family and all of our patriots out there, and celebrating this wonderful day. Not July yet, but I guess 4th is coming tomorrow.
Pre-party.
It's the pre-4th. And the Trumpster came today. We didn't get to see his motorcade because he might have flew in. We're not 100% sure on how he got here. You know, it's kind of secretive, top secret Area 51 type stuff. But we made her. Tater, mashed potato. Woo-hoo.
Well, you see a thunderstorm, the screen's sort of completely black, but if you see flashes of lightning and the trees, this is like the trailer park we're in. Over there, can't see it very well, but yeah, there's a crazy thunderstorm.
He's like, get away from me.
Hey, prairie dog. Hi. The wife.
Hello.
Where are we?
We're in Custer State Park in South Dakota.
Custer State Park.
And it is the 4th of July.
4th of July, America's birthday.
Happy Independence Day to
Happy
all our
Independence Day and happy
friends.
birthday.
Look at him rolling in the dirt.
We're making a dust storm. And yeah, we're on the
The
prairie.
prairie dog right here in front.
And we got a little prairie dogger. Not chirping at me like the other one was.
These guys are trying to stay cool by putting dirt on their bodies.
We're here at Custer State Park, 4th of July, and the bison are on the move, getting ready to congregate with the other herd that we just passed. Brandon got a great video of them. Some really big eyes out here. Sorry for a little bit of shakiness, but let's zoom in. So cool to see them just migrating and grazing, and a lot of little calves and a lot of big daddies and mamas. All right, catch you all later.
This is his 9th revision of the models that he used in the carving of Mount Rushmore. Mountain had a say in how things went as they worked and progressed on the mountain. So they had to make changes depending on the requirements, the conditions that they discovered up there. It's a 1 to 12 scale model, which kind of made it easy for him. That means 1 inch on the model equals 1 foot on the mountain. The idea started, I could say, with Stone Mountain in Georgia. I'm not sure if any of you are familiar with Stone Mountain in Georgia, but it's a carving, it's a relief carving that's on the side of the Granite Dome just outside of Atlanta. And it has figured Confederate heroes on it, but Gussie Borglum, Joe Robinson, he was our state historian back then in the 1920s, and the economy of South Dakota just wasn't that strong as an agricultural state, with some mining out here in the Black Hills. And after hearing about the Stone Mountain carving in Georgia, he thought that perhaps if something like that could be done here in the Black Hills, it would enhance our economy. So he sent Gussie Borglum, the gentleman there in the picture to the left side of the fireplace. He was the sculptor on the Stone Mountain project. He sent him a telegram and said, "Would you be interested in coming to the Black Hills of South Dakota and doing a carving here?" It was just an idea. He just wanted to talk it over. Gussie Borglum jumped at the idea. He said, "That would be wonderful. I could do that. I'd be happy to. I'd love to." And he came that summer out to the Black Hills. This was, I showed everybody this picture. This picture is of the Needles Highway, of the Needles area of the Black Hills. As the name implies, they're rather narrow spires. When Gussie Borglum got out here to the Needles area, he said these spires, by the time I got all the weathered rock removed, there wouldn't be much left. So he didn't think this was a suitable place to carve. He had to come back the next summer then, to when he got the chance. And by coming out the next summer, he was able to find this mountain. He thought this would be the perfect spot. It faces to the south and the east, and with so much solid granite to work with, he could carve something that was significant and up to the challenge of the mountain, of the monument. Joe Robinson's idea was to have Western sculptors. Western sculptor figures would be somebody like George Custer, or Sacagawea, or Lewis and Clark, maybe Wild Bill Hickok, people of that nature. Gussie Borglum said, "No, that's not grand enough for a sculpture of this size and this nature." He wanted it to be something that people would come from all over the country to see.
What are you making a video?
Custer. We are.
Custer.
Custer fireworks.
Downtown Custer.
Downtown Custer.
South Dakota.
We did the flag ceremony earlier. That's hanging half staff right now. We're in Custer.
Woo! Boom!
Boom! And this is what America's all about. Fireworks.
And freedom.
And freedom.
Liberty.
And love of all creeds, humans, races, everything.
Where we go one, we go all.
You go all. This is what we gotta do.
And if you don't know, now you know.
Yep. Here we are in the Black Hills National Forest. Got our bikes right there. We're gonna go start heading up this trail. And yeah, go up in them woods and go check it out. Scenery. And we forgot our OHV stickers, so my lovely wifey had to go back and get those for us at our campsite. Not too far away, but yeah, pretty gorgeous out here. And it's getting hot, but we're calling for thunderstorms, so we gotta get some riding in. July 5th, 2020, and yeah, stay tuned.
Dakota, Nakota, the Ocheti, Shagovi, 7 council fires. And, but the French fur traders, when they came through this area long ago, they were interested in our ancestors because when we hunted the buffalo, we used every part of the buffalo. We did not waste. We got food, clothing, and shelter all from the buffalo. That's why we like Walmart, because it's historically in us to get everything at one place, one shop. And so our people here, our grandfathers, Ungana, Gaga, Lala, Kushi, Unchi, our grandparents, they made sure that when we hunted the buffalo, we did not waste. So we used every part of it, and the French fur traders, they were interested, they wanted to know our method, because long ago during these times, one of the greatest gifts you could give to somebody was a buffalo robe. Even today, buffalo hide, you know, and so long ago, the French fur traders, you know, and the French fur traders, they came across the Chippewa tribe long ago, and they were asking them, who's that tribe that everybody's talking about, that they hunt the buffalo, and they know how to prepare the hide, and they live by the Missouri River. But the French, they were speaking French, and the Chippewa did not understand French at that time, so they had to guess. So they thought they were asking about snakes, not the river. So the French came up with this term, Nagawisu, which means snakes, enemies, adders, and they cut it in half, and they just start calling us Sioux. So when the United States government started to negotiate and federally recognized all the different tribes, they didn't ask our people. Matter of fact, a lot of the tribes, they didn't ask them what they wanted to be called. They just took the French, their word for it. And so they called us the Great Sioux Nation. But we know now that what does Sioux mean? Snakes, enemies, adders. So our ancestors did not have the input, but nonetheless, today we share this because it's important for us now to tell our side of the story. For the past century, indigenous educators, we never had a place at the table to teach these things. And we truly believe that we do better when we know better. And so when we have the opportunity to share, to teach, and we have a place at the table to share, we take this with great seriousness. And so now you know today what that means, the Great Sioux Nation. So Lakota, Dakota, Nakota, those are the three dialects of our people. And it's very simple. If you're Lakota, when you say friend, you say kola. Can everybody say kola?
Kola.
I think Coca-Cola stole that from us. We need to start getting some of that little bit of pay for it now, just kidding. But you know, your Dakota, you take that L, you replace it with a D, and you say Koda. If you're not Koda, same thing, you take the N, replace it in place of the L or the D, you say Kona.
Kona.
So it's very simple. We all speak the same language, just a different dialect. Some words are different, but it depends on where you're at. So that's one example of one tribe. Long ago, every tribe had their own language, traditions, and so on. Over 600 tribes, 50 to 100 million indigenous people at one time, 30 to 60 million buffalo. When the first settlers came through this area, they said they had to wait 8 days for one buffalo herd to pass before they could continue on. How many of you could wait 3 seconds at a stoplight? Little perspective there for you. And yeah, my friend over here, we call him Chapatonka. But, you know, he's lost a lot of weight the last couple of days. So, nonetheless, you know, our people. Well, we're going to kick things off here, friends and relatives. Who's ready for the first dancer, our hoop dancer, Mila? You know, the hoop dance, this comes to us, you know, we say that our ancestors, we studied, we had star knowledge, the Wechahpi Oyate, the Star Nation, and that's what we refer to ourselves. So whatever we see in the formation of the stars, that's how we follow the directions, that's how we follow the buffalo, and this is the way that we teach our young ones in the formation. So what happens above happens below. And that's the balance that you have. So our daughter here, Mila, she started out jingle dress dancing, and then she wanted to change up. She went fancy shawl, and now she's taken up a love for the hoop dance. And so she's going to share with you the hoop dance. Once again, warm welcome, Mila, Red Counter hoop dancer.
Hey! Lakota couples emerged out through that cave. When they got out here, they realized how different it was from where they were used to. So they tried to go back down and find their people. Unfortunately, they could not find them, so they were forced to come back out here and live. Because it was so different, they had a very difficult and lived a very pitiful way of life at first. Lucky for them, somebody came along and told them, as long as we are here, your Lakota people will be here as well too. We will take care of your people, providing you food, clothing, and shelter. From that day, we took them as our relatives, and still, to this day, we call them our big brothers and our big sisters. And who I'm referring to is the Buffalo Nation. For centuries upon centuries, our people were able to live an abundant type of lifestyle living off of the buffalo, utilizing everything from the horns to the tail, never leaving anything behind. Nothing was ever wasted. And so, every summer we see people from all over the world flocking to the Black Hills. And we know that it's more than just the tourist attractions and the beauty. As Lakota people, we know that there's something here energetically and spiritually that calls people from all over the world. So now when you drive through the hills as you're leaving here, you know a small glimpse of the Lakota perspective of our homelands of the Black Hills. But let's talk about some dancing. How many of you guys have ever attended a powwow before? Can you raise your hands? Okay, there's a few people, and I'm not surprised that there's not more people because there's some misconceptions about powwows. The first misconception is that you have to be Native American to attend a powwow, which is false. You do not have to be Native American. Anyone is welcome, and we like to showcase our modern day songs and our dances with many cultures all around the world. The second misconception is that it's some type of religious gathering, which is also false as well too. Powwows are more like our social gatherings, and you can even think of them as like sporting events. This is where we gather, we have fun, we dance, we eat, we make new friends, and we compete against other dancers based on our age category as well as our dance category. Not only do we compete for tens of thousands of dollars now at each powwow, but we have now been competing for brand new cars and vacation packages. So that kind of shows you anybody's welcome. And the third one is kind of my favorite misconception. You may have heard of those old John Wayne movies long ago. Some of you guys are nodding your head. Yes, you might recognize this sound. Right? And usually when you heard that sound, that meant the Indians are coming, right? And that instilled fear in people. Well, John Wayne had to sell tickets in Hollywood, and he had to have a good guy and a bad guy. Guess who the bad guys were, right? And so when people heard that sound, they associated it with fear, the sound of a drum. Even today, my non-Native friends, when they come to powwows, they're a little bit scared of that drum. We always tell them, first of all, there's two misconceptions about that drum beat. One, we don't have a drum beat like that. I've never heard a drum beat like that at powwows or even our ceremonies. And two, the drum actually means quite the opposite. It brings healing. We call it the heartbeat of our people, the heartbeat of the nation. And cultures all around the world utilize the drum as well too. There's a vibration that comes from that drum. We see like a spirit inside that drum. And so we utilize these drums at powwows and our sacred ceremonies. Little kids of all many different cultures, they're attracted to that drum beat, especially when they're really little, because it reminds them of something. It reminds them of their mother's heartbeat when they're in their womb. But let's talk about the 3 female dancers that you can find at powwows. The first category, and the oldest, is called the traditional dance. Depending on which tribe you come from, your dress as well as your dance may look a little bit different. Here in the Northern Plains, our Lakota Dakota women, they have the long buckskin dresses with long leather fringe hanging off the arms. All across the top is beaded with beautiful, intricate designs that usually tell a story or even the history of that family. That beadwork just alone on the top takes months, if not years, to complete. Now, our women, they stand in a stationary position and they gracefully move up and down like this to the beat of the drum. Don't let that fool you into thinking it's an easy dance. Because those women who dance that leather or that buckskin style of dance with a full beaded top, their dresses, and when they have all their regalia on, can weigh an additional 60 to 90 pounds. And you dance that on a hot summer day on the outside powwow, you're gonna get a good workout, especially if you're dancing 2 or 3 songs. In fact, I wanna challenge you, when you go back to your campsites or your hotels tonight, set your timer on your iPhones for about 3.5 minutes, stand in place and go up and down like this. And don't stop until that timer goes off. I guarantee you, your thighs will be on fire. But the second style of dance actually derived off of the first Stella dance. You know, they say that a woman was dancing traditional. She had a shawl wrapped around her arm. She took that shawl off, wrapped it around her shoulders, went into the middle of the arena, and she started dancing very quickly and moving her feet very fancy. And she started spinning very, very swiftly. And so from that day, the fancy shawl Stella dance was born. And you see that those dancers, they represent a butterfly. They try to move their shawl in a graceful way, quick, graceful way that represents a butterfly. If you watch butterflies, they look like they're dancing and celebrating life. That's what they try to imitate. For the little girls at powwows, they love the fancy shawl dance. It's a really popular dance amongst them. For the women who dance that, we call them our tip-top female athletes of the powwow world. They train year-round, running anywhere between 4 to 6 miles, lifting weights, dancing to stay in shape. You have to have a lot of stamina and endurance, be light and quick on your feet, and not get dizzy when you spin multiple times very quickly. All reasons I don't dance fancy shawl. The third category, and my favorite, which I'm going to be showcasing to you today, is called the jingle dress. Now, the jingle dress traditionally is not a Lakota style of dance. Actually, it derives to us from our northeastern tribes up that way, and we know them as the Anishinaabe. You've probably heard of them as the Ojibwe people. Today, they're people, they live up in parts of Minnesota, up into Canada, Wisconsin, and even all the way over into Michigan. And there's slightly different versions on the story, on how it goes, and how this dress was brought to the people. I'm going to share the version that was shared with me from my good friend who's an Ojibwe jingle dress dancer. So they say that 101 years ago, to be exact, that there was a little girl by the name of Maggie White. Maggie became very ill as a little girl. It was an illness that their tribe had not seen before, so nobody knew what types of natural medicines to give her. Her grandfather was given a dream, and in his dream, he was taken up to the Northern Lights. And he was told that if they were able to make a dress for his granddaughter and have these objects hanging off the dress, they would hit together and they would make a very beautiful sound, just like how the Northern Lights sounded, that would bring healing to his granddaughter. He was instructed to use the lids, the tops of the Copenhagen and Skål, like chewing tobacco cans, and roll it into a cone-like shape. Because in our cultures, many indigenous cultures, we use tobacco when we pray. We either use it, we can put it in tobacco ties, or just even lay it in the ground. But he was told that each one of those cones was like a prayer. And so when he awoke, he shared the dream, they made the dress, they took Maggie to their ceremonial houses up there in Ojibwe country. Now, Maggie was so ill, she could barely stand. They said that her family had to stand on each side of her, holding her arms out. And as the singers started singing on their drums, they helped Maggie dance. As the song progressed, Maggie became stronger and stronger, and soon she started dancing on her own. They said that by the time the evening was done, the songs were done, that Maggie was healed. And so from that day, this dress has been called the medicine dress or the healing dress. Now, Maggie went on to become she went on to live a long life, becoming a great grandmother and passing away in her early 1990s. But when she was first healed as a little girl, the story of her healing, the story of this dress, and spread like wildfire all across the United States and throughout up through Canada, amongst the hundreds of different tribes. Many of our tribes, including our Lakota people, have adopted this into our own culture, but today we use this at powwows. Now, a lot of people ask, if this is a medicine dress or healing dress, why do you use this at your social dances for competition dancing? But even the Ojibwe, who also use this at powwows today, will say, it doesn't matter where you're dancing. If you're at a jingle dress ceremony up there, at a powwow, or even a presentation like today, when a young girl or a woman puts on this dress and she dances, healing energy still comes from this. And those of us who are honored to wear this style of dress, we make sure that we remember first and foremost the origin and the purpose of this dress. And we carry ourselves in a good way, especially when we have this dress on, and especially when we're dancing. We watch our thoughts because we never know who's going to receive that healing. Those jingles, long ago, we used to have to wait to save up for a dress for people who use chewing tobacco. But lucky for us, somebody had an entrepreneur spirit in the late 1980s, early 1990s, and they made a company that manufactures these jingles just for us. Today we have 5 companies. We can get them in multiple colors, and all we have to do is click order online, and FedEx delivers to our doorstep. So it's a nice little shortcut. Just like things in life, the jingle dress has evolved over time as well. And we still have what we call original or sometimes old style jingle dress dancers, and they dance very smooth, they kind of just shuffle their feet. There's no fancy footwork at all involved in it. And, you know, we have contemporary dancers like myself today, where we do like to express ourselves with different footwork. We like this shiny material from Joann Fabrics, and we also carry an eagle tail fan. You know, as Lakota people, the eagles are considered our sacred relative who carries our prayers up to the Creator. The Creator then takes those prayers and touches that eagle. And so we acknowledge that these plumes in my hair and these eagle feathers we're carrying have been blessed by our Creator, and we hold them in high regard. And so let me showcasing to you the contemporary style of jingle dress. And as you see me dancing and you see me raise my fan up in the air at different parts of the songs, we do that because we honor the spirit in the drum. We also ask these feathers to help spread that energy out to whoever's meant to reach today with that healing energy that's coming off the dress. And this is my favorite thing to do. The first song is the straight song, my opportunity to express my own style, and the second is what we call the slide step. Now the slide step is the original type of dance that this dress belongs to, the type of dance that Maggie danced and brought healing to. And when I dance, especially this summer, I'm thinking of all the things that we need healing for, especially this pandemic that we're going through, the people who are very sickly today. So without further ado, here's a contemporary style of jingle dress.
Gentlemen, contemporary jingle dress. We're going to share two songs. The first song is a straight contemporary song, and the second song will be a side step, the original style of dance. All right, if you're ready, ladies and gentlemen, make some noise. Crazy Boys. Sidestep. My wife's going to be dancing the contemporary style of the jingle dress, and many of the original styles have a certain way, really flow and move across the dance floor, but the contemporary style, they add a little more freedom of movement. So contemporary sidestep. Song number 2, ladies and gentlemen.
Damn! So we got a crazy weather storm event going on here at Mount Rushmore. And it's like, this shit is pretty fucking gnarly actually. Really fucking gnarly. Really gnarly. You got it? Video time.
Yep, it's going. Oops. Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah. Move.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh, nerve-wracking. What?
The tight fit.
What? This tunnel is insane. Needles Highway. Oh my lord. All this granite.
And it's tight.
And we had to pull in the mirrors.
Our mirrors are big, so
We had to pull them in. And baby's driving. Luckily. And we survived! Woo. We made it! Woo! I don't want to go up in there.
No, it's
I
fine.
don't want to go down there either.
Yeah, and I have flip-flops.
Tall. Woohoo!
Driving through skinny tunnels in a big old truck.
Woo! Do I need to pull in? Oh, this is a wider one. Scoville Johnson Tunnel. We're on the Peter Norbeck Scenic Route. And there's Mount Rushmore straight ahead. To focus. There it is. And yeah, South Dakota, Mount Rushmore. Go ahead. Alright, the C.C. Gideon Tunnel. Oh lordy. Look at this. The blast of this thing. Oh, cool. Woo! Alright. This is the Doane Robinson Tunnel. The father of Mount Rushmore. Sign over there. This one's a tight. Oh, look at that. Pretty cool. Oh, the harsh sun ruining the footage, but you get the gist of it.
Hi folks, and welcome to the Old Style Saloon number 10. In a few moments, you'll step back in time to witness what happened on that fateful day, August 2nd, 1876, when Wild Bill Hickok was gunned down by crooked-nosed Jack McCall. The employees of the number 10 will set the scene for you, so sit back, hang on to your sarsaparilla, and we'll start from the beginning. It was during the latter part of August, 1875. Frank Bryant and a party of 7 gazed down into a gulch of tangled, broken trees, which from then on was to be known as Deadwood Gulch. They made their way to the bottom and began to pan for gold.
Is it okay?
Soon the cry of gold echoed up and down the canyon walls. They hastily built a crude cabin east of their find, but nevertheless went on to prospect throughout the northern hills, only to return on November 8, 1875, to post a claim of their discovery. On the very next day, November 9, 1875, a second group filed a claim just short of 3 miles up the creek. This outlined a stretch that was destined to become known as the richest placer claim area, not only in North America, but the entire Western Hemisphere. As news of this bonanza leaked out, the rush was on, resulting in a flood of mankind from all directions. The Army could no longer stop the invasion of the fortune hunters. By August 2nd of 1876, Deadwood Gulch, now known as Deadwood City, and often referred to as Sin City, had acquired a worldwide reputation as a booming metropolis. Its surrounding hills and creeks were loaded with gold. Even greenhorns were said to be able to find nuggets, well, as they put it, bigger than horse turds. Its streets were lined with substantial businesses, offering everything from an opera house to dance halls, saloons and banks, stores of every sort, but mainly saloons and gambling dens. Deadwood Gulch was jam-packed with every variety of mankind, good and bad. The likes of Wild Bill Hickok, Seth Boyd, Wyatt Earp, Calamity Jane, Colorado Charlie Utter, California Joe, and Preacher Smith. Somewhere between 4,000 to 6,000 of them. They came with greed or lust and high ideals, but the frenzied excitement that Deadwood provided well satisfied their pioneer spirits. Prospectors poked for a pinch of gold to collect for a given whiskey. The bartender would rub his fingers through his greasy hair, thus oiling them well. He would deposit the unoiled gold dust into the boss's take, and by again rubbing his fingers through his hair, redeposit the oily flakes where it could be washed out later. It's said that there was a bald-headed barkeep who was known to have half a dozen hairpieces, all well-oiled. His take was enormous, as the laundering process was more efficient. The dance hall girls had arrived on Colorado Charlie Utter's wagon train in late June, ready and willing to entertain the thousands of eligible prospectors. Some came with hopes of finding the right man. Others came simply to make their own fortune. Their attire, somewhat more revealing than what was thought to be proper, was looked down upon by those trained in ladylike etiquette, but nonetheless, they brought to the gold rush an air of reckless, dazzling excitement. By August 2nd, 1876, they were well established up and down Deadwood City's main street, working around the clock in one fashion or the other. Honky-tonk piano and their songs of promising spirit filled the air. Many an unlucky prospector could find hope for tomorrow, for he knew what the night would bring. About 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Wild Bill Hickok entered saloon number 10.
Good afternoon, fellas.
Poker action.
Hey, Paul Bill, how you doing?
A gambler from
Not too
Cheyenne.
bad, deal, man. I'll be there in a second.
Owner of saloon
Down that
number
whiskey,
10.
Harry.
And Captain Massey, a riverboat captain from Missouri, were engaged in a game of draw poker and were quick to invite Bill to join them.
The captain? Come on now, he never wins. I think it happened.
Wild Bill's reputation demanded that he be exceedingly cautious. For instance, he never liked to sit with his back to the door. The vacant seat was so located, and a lively debate between Charlie Rich and Bill
What are you doing in my
resulted
chair?
in an attempt on
My
Bill's
chair
part
tonight,
to
Wild
get
Bill.
Charlie's
No,
chair.
it isn't.
Oh, yes, it is. I've been winning a lot of money.
I don't care if you've been winning or not. I sit there, you know it, get out.
You got an
Bill
open
was
chair right
not
there,
given his
Mr. Bill.
request, and grudgingly, with great hesitation, after a few minutes, he stood up and again asked Charlie for his chair.
Dang it, Charlie, I can't sit here, and you know it. Now get out of that chair.
All the aces are on that
Bill
chair,
didn't
Wild
win this
Bill.
argument either.
That's
And on
gonna
this
be your
rare
lucky chair
occasion,
tonight.
he settled down, sitting
Fine.
with his back
I'll
to the
take
door.
your money and then I'll take your
Wariness,
chair,
though, kept
Charlie.
Bill alert.
You can have one or
This
the other.
guy,
The
Carl.
drinker,
Been
leaving
that
him
way all
one,
day.
three to handle his pistol. As unpredictable as card games are, Bill found himself quickly losing to Massey, who had lost to Bill the night before. Bill asked Harry for $15 worth of pocket checks.
You guys ready to start
Harry
losing
brought them
now?
over to Bill and returned to the
What's the
bar
bet here?
and his duties.
Got 3 in there? Alright, we'll tell
You
you
can afford
what.
it.
I'm
Soon,
liking
a
it. I'm
shifty
gonna make
drifter
6
known as
on
Jack
that
McCall
side.
entered the saloon. Bill quickly turned while drawing his gun. Recognizing McCall as a newcomer to town, he greeted him with a friendly,
Howdy, Jack.
then reholstered his
That
gun
kid
and
was in here last
resumed the
night
game.
playing cards. I cannot believe he came
Jack
back
slowly
today.
circled the table, pausing briefly behind
Hey!
each player and
Ain't no mention
analyzing
him.
each hand.
Get out of here, kid. Don't need you lurking over our shoulder the whole time we're trying to play. You must have lost 250, 300 in here last night. Left out this man.
While Maurice attention was on Massey, there was a friendly argument between them, and Wild Bill remarked,
It looks like you're all
upon
not
returning
cleaned out
directly
here.
behind Wild Bill, suddenly Jack McCall
Take that, dang you! Get out of here now!
He's
shot Wild Bill!
Massey's left arm. It was discovered soon after the cards Bill was holding were aces and eights.
Wild
forever
Bill's
known as
dead!
The dead man's hand. All fled the saloon except Carl Mann, who was held at bay by McCall. Jack snapped the trigger of his gun several times. It failed to fire. He then ran out the door and up the street. He was found hiding in a building behind a butcher shop. Later on in the day, he was tried in a miner's court. The jury, being tainted and influenced by a deceitful defense, found McCall not guilty, and he was released. This decision not only outraged the judge, but also the general populace. McCall left the camp in haste. Upon reaching supposed safety in Wyoming, he began bragging of his ignoble deed. Word of this reached a U.S. Marshal who tracked McCall down, arrested him, and sent him to Yankton to be tried again in Dakota Territory. It was determined, since the first trial was held in Indian Territory, that it was not legal. McCall was found guilty and hung for his cowardly crime. He was buried in an unmarked grave on the edge of town. Later, as the town grew, the cemetery was moved. As the coffins were opened, one corpse was found with a rope around its neck. It was easily identified as Jack McCall, the assassin of Wild Bill.
Ladies and